Hey everyone, this is JJ Outlaw.
Hi, this is T Outlaw.
And you are listening to yet another new episode of the Gourmet Goober podcast. You can always catch me, JJ Outlaw, online at the Twitters at JJ Outlaw and always on Instagram at Gourmet Goober. As always, I host the show with my BFF, my better half, that dude. I can't think of any of the nicknames that now.
That's okay. I will take out all the rest of my own.
You keep changing them.
That's okay. I'll make up some more just in case. Well, since the Goober will not completely announce me, then I will say
T
that
Outlaw. I was about to say that. You jumped in, and I was waiting for some more nicknames.
I'll introduce myself as T Outlaw,
aka Big Daddy.
See, up in there for me. Thank you. I am T Outlaw, and you can find me online at TOUTLAW on Twitter and on Instagram, the IG for the kids, at T Outlaw Chelsea Wells, like in a movie that the kids have not seen.
You can always catch us at thegourmetgoober.com. As always, people ask, are you on the Facebook? Yes, we are. I don't like to advertise that because I really hate Facebook, but if you're so inclined, you want to check us out while you're, getting back in touch with your mom and them, you can hit us up at the Gourmet Goober blog, because we started off as a blog on Facebook, so that's where you can check us out.
Or you cannot.
Or you cannot. We prefer you look for the actual podcast blog as opposed to, either one of us, because, we didn't give our government name.
Yeah, we want that to happen.
That's for a reason. So, first of all, before we go any further, I want to make sure that we take an opportunity to say thank you to our listeners, because we know as an indie podcast, having consistent content is something that's extremely important. But when you have a production company of all of 2 people, in addition to a day job, a house full of pets that you're recording said podcast from.
In the middle of a pandemic.
In the middle of a pandemic, exactly. Sometimes there's going to be extenuating circumstances where, despite our best efforts, we're not able to produce a new show as we intended. And so we let people know online that we had to pull away because of another unexpected thing that came up. As life happens.
Shit, let's just tell the truth. We're old.
You're old? You're older than me.
By a few months, but nonetheless.
But this wasn't a year-old emergency, was it?
Hell, I'll say it is, and even if it isn't. Sometimes you just gotta say, hey, I'm grown. I'm old. I took a week off.
Well, it wasn't that, to be all jokes aside, it wasn't that. We're not going to go into details, but
the dog ate my homework. Oh, wait, Mary used that one. Never mind.
So, yeah, it wasn't a polar bear eater podcast.
Oh yeah, use that one up too.
But we were dealing with something that was, real and, life, that we had to take care of involving, our well-being. And we just wanted to say thank you for your patience. And we're excited to be back and produce new content. We are working on expanding our podcast content. So coming soon, we'll hopefully have something really cool to share with you guys. We're finalizing that behind the scenes. But yeah, thank you so much for, just your support these last couple of weeks. We truly appreciate that.
And we really, 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 really appreciate your continued support going forward.
Yeah, of course we do.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm sorry, I'm a little thrown by the way you said that.
No, I'm just saying, continue, tell your friends, continue to support the podcast, and let's grow in 21.
Well, yeah, let's definitely do that. Is this like the part of the segment where we can tell them how to support us, or?
We can, but I didn't read that in my liner notes.
Well, you know about that. There's multiple ways you can support us. So
You can put money in my hands. You can, go where the money resides.
yes, technically they can go where the money resides. But you know what? The easiest way you can support the Gourmet Goober is just tell a friend, like Big Daddy said. So, as we're growing our content and the different ways that we can engage with you, we have something really exciting that's on the back burner that we're working on. So we'll be rolling that out in a couple of weeks, a partnership with someone major. But
Positive feedback also.
yes, I was getting to that, dude.
I'm helping you out.
Okay.
The
Number
hookup.
one way you can tell us is tell a friend, obviously. Secondly, as Big Daddy said, yeah, we love those 5-star reviews. So if you go to a place like, for example, you go to Stitcher or more importantly, Apple Podcasts. If you just drop that 5-star review, we've been lucky that we've had some really great ones. We will read your 5-star review on the show. So make it nice. Don't give us a 5-star review just to get me to say a boner joke. That would be kind of rude. But the thing is that, that's another great way to help us grow. As Big Daddy said, if you want to put 5 on it, you certainly can. And there's a couple different ways you can do that. One, you can go to gooberswag.com. That's gooberswag.com and hook you up with some Goober gear. So, for example, tonight I'm wearing my Are You Gumbo Worthy t-shirt. But we also have mugs, we have
Aprons,
we have t-shirts, we have hoodies. So yeah, as we're all just kind of chilling at home and staying safe and staying out of harm's way with the pandemic, if you want to snuggle up in that Goober gear, you can get that done. So that would be a great way to support the show. Another great way to support the show is that you can donate directly to the show. So if you go to thegourmetgoober.com, there's actually a little tab that you can click and it gives you an opportunity to support us. So any of those ways would totally work. There's some ways you can do it with cash, without cash. You can mix it up. You can just do one. But I guarantee you all of these are great ways to help us grow Gooberland and hopefully get more people involved. So thank you in advance.
Cool.
So now that we've got the business out the way, and you know what? We should probably do that every podcast to kind of remind people that, we're an independent podcast. And yes, we are distributed by Plum Good Media. And you see that wonderful Plum Good logo that's now on everything that we have on social media. And yes, that is the dog snoring. I'm trying to ignore it. Oh my God.
Okay, continue.
He sounds like he has a full ass job.
I was trying to move past it.
The joys of recording your podcast at home during the pandemic. Yes. So anyway, what was I saying? I'm sorry, that just
I got lost. I'm sorry. Continue.
Too. Oh my God, I did too. Anyways, we're moving on beyond.
You want to talk about how our week was?
Yeah, let's talk about our week.
Let's go with how was our week? How was yours?
Well, I thought we were going to start with you first because you had a personal thing that you wanted to share on the show. A little thing about Girl Scout cookies.
Oh, now I get to flamethrow the Girl Scouts of America.
No. Okay, all right, stop. We are not flamethrowing little girls selling cookies. We are not doing that at all.
Okay.
Get that image out of your mind, America, and whoever else is listening. Big Daddy has an issue with a distribution option that is open to other people, but apparently not to us.
Okay, because we live in
the hood.
We live in the hood, or at least, a certain section of a certain area of a certain state that DoorDash doesn't always deliver to us and or other delivery properties. We found out that there was the opportunity. This was like on a random Saturday that was it DoorDash or was it another company?
It was on DoorDash.
Okay. That the nice people at DoorDash deliver things, of course, like, food and
Girl Scout
options.
cookies.
One of them just happened to be Girl Scout cookies.
And I made the mistake of telling you that on that random Saturday.
Yes, you did.
And Big Daddy lost his ever loving mind. And it became like this whole like day of strategizing how we can get Girl Scout cookies to deliver to us. Because even though the big news is that they deliver in our area, unfortunately, they only deliver to certain areas. And then.
So basically, they don't deliver to our area.
No.
Emphasis, our area.
As we soon learned, and it was really kind of sad.
Yeah, so basically, the Goober gaslit me here and said, yes, we have.
I did not gaslit you.
You said, oh, there are Girl Scout cookies that deliver. Okay, so let's get some Girl Scout cookies delivered.
No. And then let's get this right.
Okay.
Because what happened was I was on the DoorDash because I'm like, dude, I'm really tired and exhausted. I don't feel like cooking. Let's see what I can order for lunch. And then I found myself on a Girl Scout cookie page, and it was pre-ordering because they only deliver between, I think, 4 and 8. And it's only on Thursday through Saturday. And I was like, dude, Big Daddy, check this out. Dude, the magic of technology, they will bring the cookies to you. And I was just thinking, in a pandemic, this is perfect. We never, because, we don't have kids, so we have to usually, and we work from home, so it's not like we have any coworkers not hitting us up for Girl Scout cookies at our cubicle. We have to get them somehow.
Now all of our coworkers are going to hit us up, saying, hey, since you couldn't get them Girl Scout cookies, guess what you get to take?
Yeah, so it's not as easy to have people pimp Girl Scout cookies to you in the middle of a pandemic. So the fact that they deliver to you, I'm like, hell yes. So then I tried to place the order, and then the page was like, hey, where do you live anyway? I type in the address. Oh no, we don't deliver to you.
They're like, oh no, not you people.
Not y'all. So I'm like, okay, can I do curbside cook up? Yes, and this is the address.
Curbside pickup.
Okay, nope. So let's order the curbside pickup. Oh no, not you.
Oh no, not you people.
I'm like, damn. We just got swerved by the Girl Scouts.
They were like, oh, we got all you people, but this little area, no, not your zip code. Oh no, not your street. No.
It got so bad that Big Daddy was actually scheming. He's like, who do I know close by that I can have them pick up the cookies for me?
No, would you like me to tell the truth?
Okay, go ahead.
The truth was, yes. That began a scheme in my mind that the Goober would not let me try to execute, which became first, oh, can we deliver to a business, like a random business, like even a gas station? And then I will quietly, walk in and pick it up. No. Then became, oh, at one point during in the last month or so, we had to stay at a hotel. Maybe we can have it delivered to the hotel front lobby and I'll just randomly show up, but not be a participant at that hotel. I mean, not a guest at that hotel that night. No, we couldn't do that either. So then I started really going deep in my theorem of, can we find a person whose zip code, a coworker, a former coworker or a friend who may not look like me, that may have a zip code that might be advantageous. And we'll have it delivered to them. And thus, what was the scheme? If you buy 3 boxes of cookies, they give you a 4th one for free.
Right.
And I'm willing to cut them in. I'm willing to barter. That 4th box of cookies can be given to the resident of that property just so I can get my 3. But no, we didn't go that route either. So thus, who didn't get their cookies? I didn't get my cookies.
You know what?
And I'm still in my feelings. As a matter of fact, we didn't get any DoorDash today, so I'm really, really, really in my feelings.
Wait, we were supposed to get DoorDash today?
No, that day that you were looking around. We never did buy anything.
Well, no. Well, part of that was because we had ordered earlier the week and they never delivered at all. And they never gave us an excuse as to what happened with the driver. But we're not going to talk about that because they credited us back the money, but then they gave extra credit on top of that because they realized we were really angry. So we wound up getting like a couple free meals out of it later on when we ordered.
Yeah, but still, to the people of DoorDash, man, y'all had a week with us.
but seriously, yeah. We're suffice to say,
I'm saying nothing else.
Maybe don't promise cookies.
You can't put that out there.
Deliver that.
That's right. You can't just put that out there and then be like, snatch it.
When I tell y'all that he became a man obsessed, he was a man obsessed. I actually felt really bad.
You should. I was like willing to go. Like hey, I'm willing to go to the gas station halfway across the county, just sit in the parking lot and just wait for them. Like some little Girl Scouts or their Girl Scout master leader, whatever, to walk in with a whole box of cookies for me to pick up. But no, we couldn't get those cookies. So thus, no, I'm not happy about that. So no, me and the Girl Scouts we had disagreements.
So outside of the Girl Scout cookie incident of 2021, how was your week?
I'm still working on my mental health. It's been a week and I'm still efforting, but also we all, ladies and gentlemen, got the chance to watch, at least the people who I would like to believe watch, the grand interview of Oprah Winfrey. Sorry, that's my bad Oprah impersonation. Oprah Winfrey interviewing the Duchess of Sussex, the former Duchess, Princess Meghan Markle, and former Prince Harry, and the magnificent interview that literally lit a flame to the entire royal family, and it was crazy. Now, I have thoughts, and I'm sure the Goober does also. So let's just start off with saying that Meghan had a sit down with Oprah in a multi-layered interview on Sunday night, Monday for all you people over in jolly old England, and Meghan had some things to say. And as such, I will not go deeply into those thoughts, but she had a lot to offer about her time with the royal family and the royal family's handlers. And as such, she was not happy. What eventually occurred is that Meghan, with her son in tow, and also with Harry, they ended up going first to Canada and then ended up settling in, as far as I know, California. And like we said, Meghan had to sit down with Oprah and she talked about her experience. Now, I would like to ask the Goober first, how did she feel about your opinion of the interview?
No, I thought the interview, and we didn't watch it live because the interview took place at the same time that the NBA All-Star Game. And I reluctantly watched the All-Star Game, even though I was in my feelings about that because it was supposed to be in my hometown in Indianapolis. It was not. They pulled it in the last minute. And I'm not going to go deep into that.
Yep.
They pulled it the last minute because of the pandemic. And then they're like, oh, wait, we are going to have an All-Star Game after all. And they moved it to a totally different place.
Atlanta. Welcome to Atlanta. Willing players play.
I'm disappointed in that because of what that could have meant for my hometown. Plus, I have family members who have waited since the 90s to see the NBA come back. And, they were in their feelings about that. That really kind of hurt. As someone who's a fan of, Pacer basketball. So we didn't watch it. We watched it a recording like several hours later. Um, I thought it was really a great interview. There wasn't a lot of shocks, at least on my end, because anyone who watched the coverage of how um, Meghan is portrayed in the British press would not be surprised by some of the unfortunate racist and misogynistic undertones that takes place in a lot of the coverage. I do find it interesting that she was so forthcoming about her mental health, and I'm really proud that she did that. Simply because for a lot of people, hearing that conversation, it's probably very healing to hear that someone recognized that they needed help and they reached out to their spouse or whoever in a way that letting them know. Um, I think Oprah did an incredible job following up with the questioning because, of course, she's Oprah. And just as a side note, yes, Megyn Kelly, you don't need to lecture Oprah about how to interview people. She's quite good at that.
Yes, I think she's been doing it for a little while.
Yeah, she's been doing it for way longer than you, says. So no worries. I think she knows what she's doing. But I think Oprah did an incredible job. And, they just seemed very happy to be over here. And I'm glad that they're out of that environment. Um, I do really feel bad about Harry because it seems as though he was quite blindsided by some of his family's responses to him bringing Meghan into his life. But again, for people who, and I speak of this, and I've not spent time in England, but, as a Black woman, as a woman who has spoken her mind on more than one occasion, certainly one that is familiar with, that country's history of colonialism and what that really entails as far as going into countries mostly made up of individuals of color and exert their rule on those countries, oftentimes with, less than ideal circumstances for the individuals under whose becomes their subjects, for lack of a better word. To see that they have this type of mindset to where they would worry about Archie's skin tone color or see her as, being less than is not entirely surprising to me. And to be fair, it sounds like Harry grew up in a situation where it just never occurred to him until he was with his current wife. But outside of that, it seems as though he gets it now. And he recognizes, and rightly so, his role as far as being her spouse and protecting his children and doing what is necessary in order to keep their family well-being intact. If anything, I'm sad because even though I think it was a really incredible interview, for those people who are irrationally angry and hating Meghan, and all you need to do is type Meghan Markle hashtag on Google, not Google, on Twitter to just see the absolutely bonkers responses to that woman breathing. I think in part that's been affected by the viciousness of the press over there. You just have to wonder because it doesn't seem like it's going to change those individuals' minds. And, we've seen that over here even. It's just the whole idea of, if you hate people of color, if you hate women or what have you, one interview is not going to get you to see Meghan Markle as a human being, sad as that may be. But for people who did watch the interview with an open mind, I think it was very revealing.
Okay, that's fair. Well, to the best of my viewing pleasure, I saw Meghan sit down, and during her interview, she came with a lot of statements and a lot of uh, history. I have to admit personally that there has been always been a little bit of skepticism about the life and lifestyle of Meghan Markle, but that's irregardless. I have to look at it from a purely objective point of view. And there's a part of me, like in my journalistic mind, that always has to be skeptical and like analytical of how Meghan was giving her responses and what the couple did not tell us. You know, they bring all the receipts? They made some accusations, but there were some that I was curious about. But that being said, everything that I was, I don't want to say afraid of, that Meghan was basically placing at the feet of the British press literally came straight out the next day. Like literally, Britain was like, okay, we're going to show the British press, I'm sorry, show their entire ass. If there was an ass, they showed it. Literally, you know.
Not half ass. They showed the whole ass.
The whole ass. Tea and crumpets and all. Bangers and mash. Just, they put it all together. Like literally, they showed every ounce of it. And they came with every inch of vitriol. And I truly believe in my mind that there's elements to me that wondered at first if Meghan, who is older than, as far as I know, than William's wife, Catherine, and was a divorcee, and you would think a woman of the world would kind of know in parts what she was getting into.
No, I don't think you would ever. I mean,
you expect some of it. Now, I didn't expect all this for an entire country to come at her, like with, and then like try to find, as you would say, the American fraction that was like, you know, we just don't like that Meghan Markle chick. And I'm sitting here like, so basically the British press says, you know, they played the game of, oh, we don't like you, so we're going to find people, you know, from your country that don't like you either and pull them on their television and their newspapers and say, this is why you don't like her. My thing is, can you just not like her? But no, they showed every inch of themselves and they proved, and for the most part, what Meghan was saying. So that's what my view was.
Well, one of the things that Oprah did, and you can actually look online because I know that BuzzFeed has covered this.
Everybody's covered it. Continue.
I think Glamour Magazine has covered it, where they did a comparison of spreads between coverage of Kate Middleton and Meghan. And it's interesting because you can even see in the coverage, some of which were written by the same author, and how dramatically different both of them are.
So basically the same byline, same person.
I mean, it's the same individual who wrote it,
okay.
But there's two separate articles, one covering Middleton, one covering Markle, and how they covered that.
Okay.
One actually came up in the interview with Oprah, and Meghan giggled at that kind of because she's like, oh yeah, the avocado. Where basically there is a story where I guess Prince William was out and about doing his princely shit, and some little kid's like, I heard that your wife is sick with the morning sickness, so take this avocado. And William is like, oh my gosh, it's so cute. I will take this home to my wife. And they did this whole loving story about how William was gifted an avocado in order to take care of Catherine or Kate Middleton's precious morning sickness. Okay, fine. So apparently, California girl, Meghan Markle, loves the avocado toast. Which, by the way, Megan, since you're here, apparently you can now get in a Dunkin'. Who knew? Avocado toast. So
Message.
she actually has like this avocado toast recipe that she's well known amongst her friends for. She really loves it. So, again, same newspaper wrote an article that took a tone like, did you know that Megan's favorite treat is connected with millennial angst and death of people working in mines to get the avocados? Like, literally, it's the most. If you read the title of that article, you would think that Meghan herself is like going to where these avocados are harvested with a machete and just like slice it up a bitch left and right. Like, literally, it's insane. And I'm just like, dude, why did you not go into all that detail with Kate? One of the other things that they had talked about during the interview is how Meghan made Kate cry. And it was such a huge thing in the past. And I'm not going to go into a lot of details about it because it did come up in the interview with Oprah. Ironically, what had happened was in reverse. Kate said something that made Meghan cry. But you know what? Kate apologized and even brought flowers. So they made up. And Oprah even said, what did she say? And she goes, you know what? I'm not the kind of person who holds on to that. We're good. I'm not even going to revisit that again. I saw that, and I guess I never realized how big of an issue that whole Meghan made Kate cry until I saw it in the interview. I was just like, oh, she made him cry. Big deal. I hope they're fine if that's the case. I don't know why that has to be like a huge thing. But then it didn't get me until last night when I was watching that. What was really implied with that? Because, okay, we don't really talk a lot about race on the show, but I think
we are black.
Well, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, African American.
No, what I'm trying to say is, throughout history, there have been things that have been implied about people of color, particularly black people, with white women weaponizing their tears.
Oh, I'm sure I've talked about that in the past.
Right, but what I'm trying to say is that is literally what was and that was literally what was inferred.
Okay.
Was Kate's weaponizing her tears and, oh, isn't she a monster because she made Kate cry? Like, it was just the input. It takes on that overtone when you realize some of the other things, like when he got engaged to her, the same newspaper was just like, oh, she's straight out of Compton. And they didn't mean it like cool straight out of Compton. No.
Like NWA straight out of Compton.
No, yeah, they meant that, obviously. Or some of these newspapers calling her child out of their name and like implying that he's a monkey or something. I mean, yes, that was kind of what they were hinting at with the fact that she made him cry. Because in the grand scheme of things, if you have a relationship with someone, especially if you're like sister-in-laws or family members, you're going to make them cry sometimes. I mean, that's just life. Why is that like headline news? Until you realize that if you look back through history and what is inferred whenever a person of color makes a white person cry, let's not forget not to make the natural connection, because obviously one doesn't relate to the other. But if you think about the death of Emmett Till, that was largely set up by this woman's crocodile tears.
And she did not tell the truth.
Right. When you think of what happened recently in New York City, where the man was bird watching, and she falsely called the police, and you could even hear she laid on the tears immediately, because the whole idea is that womanhood is valued above everything else and is supposed to be protected. And how dare she make her cry?
Yes.
So when I saw that last night, I admit, out of all the things that were in that interview, that sort of pissed me off the most, because I was just thinking, oh, that's what they were inferring. And that's why it's a big deal. And that's why Oprah kept circling back to that. Because I'm like, oh, that is low down. And it's sad, actually, if you think about it, because it means that whole implication of weaponized tears, apparently that works in Britain just like it works here. Because when you go online and you see all these people just raging at Meghan, like Meghan just went in their house and stole their dog. A lot of times they reference to the fact that she made Kate cry. Well, I'm here to tell y'all, Kate probably has cried at other things too. I mean, if she sees a good rom-com and she weeps over it, are you going to go beat up Hugh Grant? I don't think so.
Can we?
Well, you might want to do that anyway, because some of his movies suck. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to just stick to the fact that was the one thing that stood out for me in the interview that was surprising for me.
Maybe Meghan did borrow Kate's dog. That can make her cry.
I don't even know if they have a dog.
Okay.
I don't know enough about that family. But yeah, the interview, if you haven't seen it yet, it is quite riveting. It is well done. I have to do a shout out to Tyler Perry, because apparently that's the other surprise out of this interview. Apparently Tyler Perry is the real MVP.
How is that?
Because when Harry and Meghan first got over here and they were trying to find a place that they can, be through the lockout, and apparently they're just like, look, Harry, if you're not going to play the reindeer games, we're going to pull your security. And they're getting death threats and all sorts of things. Tyler Perry stepped in and said, hey, look, I have this house that I'm not using. You can use my security. You'll be completely safe.
Tyler Perry has houses, yes.
Yeah. But the fact that the crown will not protect Harry and Meghan, but Medea would, hey, that's all you need to know.
That's
and
right.
If you've ever seen a Medea movie, they are A-okay. Because one, Medea's packing all the time.
She packing. If it's not a pistol, she got a bat. If she ain't got a bat, she got that chainsaw.
Yeah, Medea's always packing. One. But then two, if you've seen, what was it? Which was the one where they had the ridiculous wedding?
I thought that wasn't.
That wasn't Diary of a Mad Black Woman. It was...
Oh, was it Family Reunion?
I think so. The one where she adopted Keke Palmer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds about right. You casket sharp, Carlos.
She teaches her to put on a pot of hot grits.
Hold on now. Why is it we saw women in the damn grits?
What I'm trying to say is...
Hold on now.
What I'm trying to say is...
I don't need no flashbacks.
If people are coming over from England in order to hurt Harry and Meghan, I'm sure they're not familiar with the hot grits phenomenon that was discussed in that movie. So I think they will be quite protected with Tyler.
Al Green will tell them.
So let's hear it for Tyler Perry. He's the real MVP.
Love and happiness. Without them grits.
Ooh. So wrapping up my week, outside of that, I do want to just take a quick moment to talk about something that we had talked about on the previous podcast, and that is WandaVision has finally come to an end.
And now I get to tune out.
No, don't tune out. It was a great... No, because, okay, first of all, spoilers. This whole segment is going to be about spoilers. I'm just going to be honest.
So now you can jump forward 8-9 minutes.
No.
If you don't want to hear the spoilers.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Because here's the thing. I have been riveted throughout the 9-episode arc of the show. This is not the first Marvel-related television show, but this is the first Marvel-related television show that ties into their cinematic universe. And they did a really incredible job Because you're thinking in 30 minutes, what are they going to accomplish that usually you see over an arc of 23 movies of Marvel? And they very brilliantly brought everything together. In fact, if anything, I kind of wish that they made the last episode longer, because there was just so much to unpack. And the thing is, Disney Plus, they're smart. They know how to do their serial programming quite well, because they will have you getting up at the butt crack of dawn to watch the episode, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to miss the episode and then you have to stay off of social media for the day because everyone is talking about it. Although people have been handling the WandaVision spoilers on Twitter brilliantly, so I gotta give their hand to that. So if you listen to the last episode, if you're not familiar with Marvel Cinematic Universe or what that means, I recommend you listen to the first segment of the last episode, where I break down what that means and how there's different characters. Because I had someone email me and they're just like, you know what? I never understood it until you did the sandbox scenario.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know this. This is really interesting stuff right here.
Well, stop making fun of me.
It's too easy.
Because the whole thing about the sandbox, it's hard to imagine everything until you put everything in their proper place. And you're like, oh, yeah. That's why these things work together. Yes. So I was up at like 4 and 5 in the morning before a long ass work day. I didn't want to wake everyone up, so I actually watched it on my computer in my office. And I was holding a cup of coffee. I actually think I woke up the pets, though. At one point, I like screamed when I realized that someone who I thought was Quicksilver was not Quicksilver, according to them. But I think that's a lie.
Why do you believe that?
Are you just asking these questions so you can do that?
I'm staying relevant, but continue.
Okay. All jokes aside, though, it was a really great show. I think they did a great job of tying up the loose ends. The way that the television show works is that Marvel, the way they tell their stories, are in what's known as phases. So this introduces a new phase. That means that they're bringing on new characters as they retire old ones. And so the show introduced characters like, for example, the character of Monica Rambeau, who I explained who she was.
Yeah, because that's the one in Captain Marvel. Right,
that was the little girl, the 11-year-old little girl in Captain Marvel, who's now an adult now. And she got her powers, and you saw that shown. I think it did a really great way of tying in elements of the classic comic book, The House of M, where it talks about Wanda's breakdown, and her identity is going to be essential to several movies that are coming out. And so I think it did a really great job of setting up those stories.
Does it in any way, and please bear with me because I did not watch, did it finally explain how they're going to integrate the M, the word they cannot say?
Well, we can say it. It's the mutants, yes, basically.
The X-Men portion, right, of the program.
In a nutshell, if you didn't catch last week's episode, what this means is, once upon a time, Marvel sold out parts of their company characters of their company in order to stay afloat. But the same movie studios didn't buy all the characters, they broke them up. So Fox bought the X-Men properties, which had the word mutant in it, and Disney bought a bunch of other properties that did not. And so Fox, because they made a crap load of money, they're very protective of their stuff. And so they said, you can't even think of saying the word mutant. We even catch you thinking the word mutant, we'll sue you. Well, eventually Disney buys Fox. So now they have all the characters except for the ones tied to Spider-Man that's on Sony. So now they're trying, everyone's like, yes, all of us nerds, please put them together because they're together in the comic books, right? And we want to see them all together. And Disney's like, okay, we'll bring them in, but we'll take our time. So there's one character, to answer your question, and this goes to the Quicksilver. Please, we don't have enough time to even cover the nexus of it. But in a nutshell, I'll try to make it short. When the Disney franchises of Marvel and the Fox franchises of Marvel were separate, in the comic books, they were X-Men who served on the Avengers, and then they went back to the X-Men, and vice versa, because they all lived in the same place. But what they decided to do was, when Disney wanted to tell their stories, they were like, look, we're not going to say the N word, but can we borrow 2 of your characters that really fits with us? And they served on both teams. And Fox was like, okay, but seriously, use the N word, we're coming after you.
Emphasis, the M word.
The N word being mutant.
Yes.
So basically, they brought over 2 of the characters. One of them died. They killed one off right away. But he appears again in WandaVision using the actor that this character is being played in the Fox series. So everyone was like, oh my God, there's mutants. They introduce mutants. They have to introduce mutants. And this is where Disney's trolling you, because you're just waiting for confirmation. In the end of the series, you find out that is not who they say he is. That he is a person by the name of Ralph Boner. So they put in a dick joke in a Disney show. But Ralph Boner, who Agatha Harkness, a.k.a. Agnes, has been claiming to be married to all this time.
It was her all along.
However, please do not say that again, because Agatha all along, I've been trying to get that song out of my head all week. I love that song. I love the trap remakes. Oh my God. You guys, if you haven't heard Agatha all along, first of all, get your life. Second of all, go to YouTube and just Google enter the words Agatha all along, and just get a minute of joy that you can't get back. Be prepared for that to be in your head all week. But here's the thing. I think Marvel is lying to us and that mutants exist. And here's why. Because the whole setup to WandaVision entering the show was, you actually, around episode 4, you see that what actually is going on is not the television show you're watching.
Okay.
You see what actually is going on is there's an FBI agent played by Randall Park, which, if there's any justice in the world, after WandaVision, Marvel will just give him his own show. He is brilliant in this. So he is following up on someone on a witness protection program. That person has gone missing. So he went to the town of Westview to find him. When he gets there, he realizes the entire town of Westview is missing, because in essence, is under a spell that's unwittingly cast by Wanda. So there's another episode, there's another scene in the series where he breaks down the identity of everyone in this town who has shown up, and it's a different identity on the television series. So essentially, she kidnaps these people. She's forced them to play another character in her television series that is being broadcast. They never identify who Ralph is.
Okay.
So you see this huge board with everyone's real name, and there's a couple people who are missing. One is Dottie, which we find out is a red herring. One is Agatha. Agatha's not playing a role. Agatha put herself in it to try to steal Wanda's powers.
Really?
Yes. But the one name that's not in there is Ralph, who we find out in the last episode. It didn't dawn on me until actually yesterday that the reason why Ralph doesn't exist is he is the person in witness protection. And if you think about it, Ralph Boner sounds like a name that a dude would totally give himself if he was in witness protection.
Like Carlos Danger.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So if you think about it, and if Ralph is the person, then who is Ralph? I'm thinking Ralph is really the Quicksilver from the Fox series, and that we will see him again. So I think that is how they're going to introduce mutants into the series, because he had the powers of Quicksilver, and I'm not entirely sure that Agatha gave him that. He was under Agatha's control, but being able to run and do all the things, because Quicksilver is like their version of the Flash.
Yeah.
So he has super speed. He was all too comfortable knowing how to use that. I honestly think that that is who his real identity is. And they never talked about who the missing witness protection person is again. So that lets me know that that's going to be brought up in another Fox movie, because that's, or Marvel movie, because that's how they do it. Like, remember when I watched Ant-Man late at night, and I realized Ant-Man was going to be the key to, like, Endgame and how they were going to get everybody back. Yeah, and I woke your ass up at like 3 a.m.
Yes, she did.
Was and not they were happy. Really quiet. They didn't mention him at all in Infinity War. And it finally just dawned on me, like, oh yeah, that's how they're going to do it. So I honestly think that Ralph Boner is really Quicksilver, and that's how they're going to enter mutants in. Plus the last scene, and if you watch WandaVision, they actually have post-credits, because not all the episodes do, but this one does. So watch to the very end, and they kind of let you know that mutants exist, because her kids are mutants, and they still exist. And that's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
So I got my nerd on. It was great. It was the highlight of my week, because otherwise my week sucked with a really long project that I had to work on that just kept going and going. So I was very happy to get up at 4:30 in the morning and scream at my computer to watch the last episode.
And figure out all the different sandboxes.
Yes.
And have trap versions of
Agatha random all along, exactly.
Got it.
But I have a couple weeks actually I don't even have a couple weeks, because the next Marvel series is coming out.
What's the next Marvel series?
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Bucky and the other guy.
It's the Bucky and the other guy.
I can't think of it. I can't think of Falcon's name.
So anyway, it looks to be a really great show. I'm excited about that. And yeah, I'm just gonna
Bucky and the brother.
Bucky and the brother.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. The brother and Bucky.
Okay, his name is Sam Wilson.
Yes. Thank you, Echo. Sam Wilson and Bucky.
So I tell you what, why don't we take a break? Because I think we went way nerdier than some of our listeners are probably used to. But, this is a segment where we talk about our week, and this is how our week went.
Cool. The Black Man and Bucky.
So when we come back, we will talk about 3 stories, none of which are tied to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I promise, that meets the intersection of food and pop culture. And, of course, we'll end the podcast talking like we always do with the best thing we ate this week. So you were listening to the Gourmet Goober podcast, and we will be right back. Today's episode of the Gourmet Goober podcast is presented by Clark's. Clark's story began almost 200 years ago when Cyrus and James Clark made a slipper from sheepskin. At the time, it was considered groundbreaking, a combination of both invention and craftsmanship that has remained at the heart of what Clark does, even to this very day. And now, the Gourmet Goober, we're teaming up with Clark's and Podgo to provide you up to 30% off select items, including the iconic Clark's Desert Boot. Just go to podgo.co/Clark. That's podgo.co/Clarks. Thanks for listening to the Gourmet Goober podcast. Now, back to the show. Hey guys, this is JJ Outlaw.
And T Outlaw.
And we are back with the segment of the Gourmet Goober podcast that we call What's Eating Us. That's where we share the stories that have given us joys, made us laugh, made us think. And as always, it covers that intersection between food and pop culture. And this week, Big Daddy and I chose 3 stories that were very pertinent to restaurants and how they have been handling or mitigating some of the changes that are going on during the pandemic and the change in the restaurant industry, trying to get a leg up on their competition, maybe rolling out some new services. And in one particular restaurant in particular, one organization that is jumping into something that we've talked about on the show before, the ghost kitchen craze.
Yeah.
Which, again, it's a reminder if you're not familiar what that is. It's a new concept that has really been taking steam. It's been around for a while, to be honest. But since the pandemic, it's really taken off. And it's the whole idea where there are some concept store restaurants that essentially there's these food concepts. They sell their proprietary recipes and how the ingredients and marketing all to restaurants. It's giving them a way to have another stream of income during this crisis. Most of the time, you'll know a ghost kitchen because there's no brick and mortar per se. It's all delivered through a partner service like Grubhub or DoorDash or Seamless or any number one of those many delivery services that are out there. And more, these concepts are actually taken over by celebrities. So that, for example, rapper Tyga has one that's tied with chicken bites. There is a delivery service that's actually tied to Mariah Carey, so that she actually does a ghost kitchen delivery service tied with cookies. And getting into that concept is celebrity actress and lifestyle guru Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yes.
So if you're familiar, she has this lifestyle brand that's called Goop. And Goop normally is not something that you would be associating with food delivery per se. But they are known for some high-end products. And when I say high-end, they have something with the lifestyle brand, everything from a candle that it supposedly smelled like Miss Paltrow's private parts.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the candle literally says this smells like my vagina. I didn't need to know that, Gwen, but just in case, there you go.
It's almost like strong shade. It stinks so good,
right? But she's also sold everything from $425 sweatpants, a $1,995 Ouija board, which is a shame because that's a lot of money to get thrown out of my house.
Yes.
I don't fuck with that. Or she actually advertised once a $35,000 pyramid-shaped cabinet that is supposed to create a spatial vortex in whatever room it's placed in. All I know is if you pay $35,000 for anything that goes in our house, it better create a spatial vortex. It better have like a direct connection to Idris Elba. It should allow me to go back in time and meet up with Big Keanu from Speed. It should accomplish a lot of things for $35,000.
Okay, maybe not all that.
So anyway, beginning this week, she is actually rolling out a new part of her empire tied to the Goop brand. And it's a ghost kitchen concept where it's a gluten-free, clean food. It's called the Goop Kitchen. So again, being a ghost kitchen, it's delivery concept, delivery only. It only has 5 items on its menu right now. And most of the time, these concepts are pretty small in what they offer, so that's about right. But with it, they offer 2 salads. You can build your own lettuce wraps. And then there is a pair of bowls that they offer as well. And the bowls, if I'm not mistaken, there is a salmon bowl, and then there's a Goop teriyaki bowl, which is made with organic chicken. The salads, by the way, there's a miso salad, miso salmon salad. There is a supreme chop salad, whatever that is. And then they have mushroom al pastor lettuce wraps. So I imagine that's probably a vegan one. Her kick, if you will, her main reason to be is that this is a restaurant that she claims is certified clean. So that means that they're freed from processed sugars, processed food, gluten, soy, dairy, peanuts, or preservatives.
So basically, bland.
It's Big Daddy they take out all the good stuff.
Yeah, because it's basically, it's clean. It's like clean up flavor, clean up taste, clean up some good grease. I don't know.
So this restaurant is actually ran by Chef Kim Fleska. And she very famously worked for a restaurant in Napa Valley. I think it's called El Bulli. But it's also just going to be delivering in the Los Angeles area, but not everywhere in Los Angeles. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, you can find it in places such as Beverly Hills, Brentwood, Beverly Hills, Pacific Palisade, and Venice.
So they're not delivering that down to the Trap Kitchen.
No. If you live in Inglewood or Compton, I'm sorry, you were out of luck.
What about the brothers in the LBC? In Long Beach?
Don't think so.
Okay.
I think she's going for a very specific
Not up the
aesthetic as far as who she's sending the food to. But to be honest, it's not even a long time thing. I think she's only going to be offering this from March 8th through March the 21st. So it's almost like a pop-up kind of ghost kitchen thing.
Okay.
So she put out a statement about it.
Of course she did.
And I say this because Big Daddy. Okay.
Do you need a minute?
I do. Because, when we're in a production meeting, and we have a production meeting before every episode of the podcast.
A silly one.
A very silly one. And we were talking about whether or not to cover this. And Big Daddy, I think part of the reason why you wanted to cover this is you found it interesting. And we were going to maybe expand into how ghost kitchens are now becoming the latest celebrity thing.
Okay, we'll go with that.
But to be honest, I think the other reason why you wanted me to cover it is because how do I put this?
Be nice.
I am trying to. I'm not really sure how this has happened. But Miss Paltrow is not my favorite actress or person. And Big Daddy knows this. Like, going back to the last segment in my nerdiness, I admit part of the reason why I did not see Iron Man 2 or 3.
And probably neither did she.
Well, yeah, because apparently she doesn't know how many Marvel movies she's in. Like, it always comes up like, you were in Spider-Man. No, I wasn't. Yeah, you were in Spider-Man. She just doesn't know. But, and I think part of it is because growing up, Iron Man was not my favorite person. But the other part is I kind of find her annoying.
I'm sorry, you find her what?
I sometimes find her a little pretentious and annoying.
Pretentious and annoying.
But it's not my cup of tea. Okay, she's just not my taste. That's all. I'll put it that way. She's just not my taste. And Big Daddy sometimes teases me because
she's everywhere.
No, you want me to read the statement in her voice, basically, because I have a Gwyneth. Well, it's not just a Gwyneth voice, but it's
You have a generic voice that she reads everything in and is quite Karen Becky / Gertrude ish.
yes. And so when I'm like looking at the notes for the media, I'm just like, oh, you wanted me to read this statement in her voice.
She has a very bad impersonation, but yet funny.
Okay, all right.
But it's a statement.
Let's see if I can do this without giggling.
Good luck.
Driven by a core belief that clean, nutrient-dense, delicious foods lead to greater well-being, Goop has covered countless detoxes and interviewed legions of experts on the food to happiness connection. Goop's kitchen mission is to accelerate the clean food movement by proving, just as Paltrow did years ago, that whole, unprocessed meals can be both satisfying and convenient. This time brought you right to your door with a few clicks. Big Daddy's holding his face so he doesn't laugh out loud.
I'm doing my best to hold his hand. I generally, and no disrespect to Miss Paltrow, nor the people of London, but I have no problem with Gwyneth Paltrow as a person or an actress, but I may have more of a problem with like what Goop products really are. I tend to believe that I don't know exactly what the acronym Goop really stands for, but I really
I think
like
that's her childhood nickname.
That's her childhood nickname.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry for her, but I generally believe it stands for like generously opulent and overpriced products.
And you know what? That's a good one. That is a very good one.
Yes.
But all jokes aside, you know what? There is legions of women who are really big fans of this. So I'm not gonna like poo-poo them. It's
because they can afford that.
It's not for everybody. I personally am not really sure why you need a candle that smells like her hoo-ha. But to be fair, she's not the only person who's done it. I think
did Chris Martin buy that?
I think Erykah Badu has a candle that supposedly smells like her hoo-ha too. So I guess everyone wants us to smell their hoo-ha.
Wait a minute, does Cardi B have one?
I don't know.
Okay. Hell, I'm going, multi all over the place.
You want to buy a candle of hers if she does? We need to take this offline. I don't think I can talk to you about this.
No, because I'm like, I don't know if I need the Migos, like, looking for me.
Although that would explain. Okay, I'm not going to make a Dabo Ranch joke. We're going to move on.
Yes, we will.
No, we won't.
Let's move along.
We are going to move along. So, what do you think? I mean, obviously, Goop does not deliver where we are just yet.
No kidding.
I think Goop will probably be the way of the Girl Scout cookie earlier in the segment. But do you think that this is something that, I mean, eventually we're going to be out of the pandemic and people want to go out dining and eating and things like that? And it's a super easy way, if you're a celebrity, to put your name on something and not necessarily have a restaurant that you're invested in. It's a really easy, low-cost way to get started up and diversified in the food industry. But do you think this is a trend that will last? So would you, A, want to try Goop's food if you had the opportunity?
Nope.
And okay, that was quick. But B, do you think that this is indicative of a larger trend that you're going to see where more and more celebrities are putting their name on ghost kitchens?
Yes, I very much believe that with how the overall market and most importantly, like how there are a lot of people from different entertainment, business collaborations, they want to dip their toe in. And I know a lot of people want to start their own restaurants. And this is almost, I don't want to say a safe way, but kind of a way of like dipping your toe into the sand and kind of like doing like a quick, blitz marketing thing of like, okay, what can I bring a different niche to the market? What can I do to bring something that maybe, other people have, maybe it's just like, random people are putting something together and then a celebrity comes in like, boom, I put my name on it. So thus, people must try it. People must eat it. So I'm willing to say, yeah, I'm thinking that there are people that this will become a thing for a little while.
But will it be sustainable after the pandemic ends? But I guess
Yeah.
that's kind of hard to say, though, because we don't know what dining is going to look like even after the fact.
Yeah, I generally believe that I think there's going to be a lot of evolutions that go on.
So here's a question I have. What celebrity ghost kitchen would you be eager to try? Like, I already know my answer. If Patti LaBelle put out a ghost kitchen, I am there.
Okay.
The chance to be able to eat Miss Patty's cooking. We have 2 of her cookbooks on our shelf. Girlfriend can throw down in the kitchen. So this is not just her slapping a name on something. This is someone who knows how to cook. I would totally try her ghost kitchen concept.
Okay.
Even if it's not her cooking herself, because I imagine that she would probably be really well, she has really great recipes. So I'm hoping that whoever like cooks it for her will be able to season it and do it as Miss Patty would do it.
Does she get to call me Chipmunk? Maybe that would be her. That would be the name of her ghost kitchen.
Chipmunk.
That's right.
I like that.
Just as long as she gets to call me Chipmunk, but no prune cobbler.
So what about you? What celebrity ghost kitchen would you?
Okay. I'm gonna stay kind of in the neighborhood. I have 2. One that maybe there might be one already, but I don't know about it. But okay, I have 2 really quick. One maybe associated with Miss LaBelle. I have this thing that I believe that the drummer Questlove from the Roots. I'm thinking the boy has some recipes.
Well, he already has a ghost kitchen, I think.
He has a go. See, there we go.
I think he does have a delivery service. And you're right. He would probably be a really good one.
He would be a good one because at least he has great stories, and I generally believe that he knows different cuisines from different places, not only just Philly, but also like from the East Coast, down south, in the Bayou. He has always great stories, and I would really like to talk to Questlove, especially just generally about food. Actually, my other one is going to sound way off the charts, but I'm going to take a stab at it. I generally believe, just me saying it, Dr. Phil. I want to see a ghost kitchen with Dr. Phil.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I was not expecting this. This didn't come up in the production meeting, y'all.
No. I truly believe that if you sit down and you talk to Dr. Phil about some good food, Dr. Phil has some good food. He just won't tell you about it yet.
Oh, no. I understand Dr. Phil knows good food, obviously. But I don't know if Dr. Phil knows good food, recipe. Does he like to cook?
He does like to cook. He has cooked some pretty decent things in the past. That's just undercover.
I did not know this about Dr. Phil.
Yes, Dr. Phil can do a little cooking. But yeah, I'm willing to say that even if not all of it is Dr. Phil's cooking, I would be interested to see if Dr. Phil could come out with a ghost kitchen with some Southern recipes.
Interesting.
Yes, it is.
I guess I never really thought of Dr. Phil as some great culinary genius.
Well,
how did you find out that he liked to cook?
I don't know. I think he was doing an interview. Maybe he was making fun of Dr. Oz, and all of a sudden he references his cooking ability.
No, I think well, you know what? Dr. Oz's daughter can cook, one. So I don't think that's as big of a deal. But yeah, I personally hadn't thought of Dr. Phil. What kind of food do you think it would be? Southern food?
I mean, I believe Dr. Phil is a worldly man, but I think he would be very good. I think he could definitely throw down. He could throw down a good brisket. I'm not saying he could. I'm just thinking because even if he doesn't actually do all the cooking, he can put his name on it, and just call it. I don't know. Either you get it or you don't. in his own little southern slang.
You just want to say that.
Yes, I do.
Well, if you're in the area, just know that if you're interested in trying Goop's test kitchen, Ghost Kitchen, you can do so. And again, it's only available from Monday, March 8th through Sunday, March 21st. And you can go through its website. And I will put a link to it on our show notes. So even though, again, I'm not a fan of Miss Paltrow, again, it sounds like it's interesting to be able to try the product. So you can find out more through the link that I'll put on the show notes. And if you happen to be one of the lucky few that gets it, let us know. Now, outside of that, talking about a more egalitarian dining choice, one that probably is everywhere as opposed to just the small marketing areas that Ms. Paltrow is targeting. Our second story happens to deal with Popeyes and their continued dominance over the Great Chicken Wars and their ways of maintaining that. And there's actually two stories that are tied to it because, quite frankly, we just think that Popeyes needs all of their ducats. They need all of the awards because, first of all, who's ever managing their social media is quite masterful. Because now we've moved on from community-based content around their chicken and how good it is to now they're using their time in trolling other new entries into the chicken wars because they know that they're so good.
Oh, goody.
So one actually we had talked about in our meeting, if you recall, and this is regards to McDonald's, which, by the way, they just recently, and McDonald's have had chicken sandwiches before, but they've actually recently released a new sandwich concept designed specifically to go against the chicken sandwich at Popeyes. And it's their crispy chicken sandwich. So there's the spicy crispy. There is a classic crispy. And then there's a crispy deluxe. And the difference between the regular and the spicy and the deluxe is, of course, the deluxe has like the addition of lettuce, tomato, and onion, I believe. Whereas the other two sandwiches, they're more traditional, in line with what you've seen with some of the other Popeye-like sandwiches. And that includes, in this case, I think it's a potato bun. And then they also have mayonnaise, or in the case of the spicy one, the spicier condiment sauce to go with it. And then, of course, pickles and the actual protein being the crispy sandwich. Just as a side note, Big Daddy and I, we recently tried the McDonald's sandwich. And I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised. I really, really liked it.
I was pleasantly surprised, and for this reason. One, because if there are things you got to know about McDonald's, they are very liberal with their salt.
Yes.
But weirdly enough, like their chicken sandwich was not as salty as I thought it would be.
No, and actually it was very subtle in their seasoning, which is really, really nice. All things considered, it was actually, if you put the Popeye's chicken sandwich at the top, it's a close second. I think, if anything, it probably needs a little bit more crunch in the sandwich.
Yeah, it just needed more.
Yeah, it just was missing a little bit of that satisfying crunch that you get with the McDonald's.
Yes.
Or with the Popeyes. But no, it was, well seasoned. It's really kind of subtle. It had the spicy one actually tastes pretty darn close to the spicy one at Popeyes. But the thing I like about it is that they definitely came on the come up when it came to the chicken. Because one of the reasons why I don't like the McDonald's sandwiches is they all have like this similar taste, like the McChicken sandwich.
Yes.
Where it's almost like it's mechanical separated chicken as opposed to this sandwich where you can clearly tell they're using actual chicken breast for it.
So basically you're saying the chicken died violently. They went all Terminator on that chicken.
I didn't see that specifically, but yeah. So during the rollout, because McDonald's, they wanted to roll this chicken sandwich out with new fanfare. So what they did was they set up a website in early February with the idea that you will be able to go on the website and offered free chicken, right?
Right.
Well, they really didn't plan this well, because what Popeye decided to do when they saw this lunch is they went to their local, I don't know, GoDaddy.com or whatever, and they went and they thought up as many different variants of the McDonald's URL as they possibly could. So if people misentered the URL for, let's say it's like McDonald's chicken, and they add an S on the end of the chickens. So now it becomes McDonald's chicken. They literally just went through and come up with as many mistakes as they possibly could. So when people went looking for the McDonald's chicken, they would be redirected towards Popeyes. How freaking devious is that?
One, that's devious. Okay, I'll give them credit. That is devious. Two, they have the webmaster has too much time on his hands. Three, Popeyes must have some bank, a little bit. I know getting being able to get the names was an ingenious thought, but at the same time, it was not expensive to get the names. But four, in reference to coming to America, did they get McDowell's chicken? See, they're McDowell's. We're McDowell's. I don't think the webmaster at Popeye said, "Hey, did I think of McDowell's chicken?" See, there we go, right there. Bank that.
So, in their ad, it's actually pretty funny because they even give you some of the different ways, because the McDonald's URL basically spelled out the word chicken drop. And Popeyes is like, oh, we got you back. However you spell any of these chicken drops, if you go to the Popeye site, you actually get a free Popeye chicken sandwich.
Oh, hold on now. I'm paying attention. Here we go.
Yes. So not only did they troll them, but they trolled them and actually took the chicken sandwich away from Popeye or McDonald's. So everyone had a chance to get their own Popeye's chicken sandwich. And I'm like, oh, that's a little shysty.
That one is shysty. That was a neat trick. One, I'm very impressed. At the same time, I'm like, the people at Chick-fil-A are just pissed off because they're like, how come we didn't think of this?
They're too nice to do that, though. I don't think Chick-fil-A would do that. That's the whole thing. They're just really nice and wholesome.
Nice and wholesome, yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to go on that either.
No. But two, do you ever get the feeling that the people in our audience are sick of us talking about chicken wars? You think the chicken wars are run their course?
You would think so, but now everyone is trying to get in the act over a year later.
True.
So, for example, outside of Popeyes and McDonald's, Popeye also trolled another fast food chain, one that you would never connect to the chicken wars, but now they're trying to get their own.
Really?
Yes. So, of all places, Taco Bell.
Taco Bell, running for the border. Yo quiero.
Yes. Yo quiero Taco Bell, running for the border. So they are now going into the chicken war as well. So they recently, a couple weeks ago, came out with a much anticipated fried chicken menu, including something that's called the fried chicken sandwich taco.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Hold on. Maybe this is the first time I've heard this, but maybe not. I'm sorry. Would you like to say that one more time for me?
Yes, it is the crispy chicken sandwich taco.
The crispy chicken sandwich taco.
Yes.
You ever get the feeling that sometimes the people at Taco Bell in the food kitchen there, they tend to just be sitting there smoking on something, and they just say, "What crap can we make up?"
Well, let's just explore what's on it.
Okay.
So, it's kind of weird because if you look at it, it's sort of like fried chicken with instead of pickles is jalapeno with the spicy.
Jalapeno.
And it's kind of like a sandwich in a taco. So it's basically the taco shell is bread. And the centerpiece of the taco is the crispy tortilla chicken, which features white meat marinated in jalapeno buttermilk, Mexican inspired spices, and a crunchy outside shell, which is made from tortilla chips.
I'm trying to piece my head. Okay.
Do you need a minute?
I'm still putting this together. Please forgive me. I'm a little slow on the come up, but okay. I guess that goes together. But I'm still working on this, like coming from Taco Bell of all places.
Well, apparently, Taco Bell feels that because they've created what they call a fourth meal, and it's a sandwich in a taco, it doesn't have to explain itself.
I think it still needs to explain itself. Luego you got some flame to do. I'm just thinking that's a lot, one. But
Well,
two, since Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and KFC all kind of run together in some markets, maybe they just all just had one big cataclysm. Just they threw it all together in the kitchen and said, "All right, what can we put together?" And it may start tasting a lot like a KFC sandwich in Taco Bell stores. That's just my general belief.
I guess I don't know. To look at it, if you, it just you know what it looks reminds me of. I don't know if you've ever done this when you were a kid, or do it now, where you have like the end pieces of a bread, of a loaf,
Yes.
and you fold it over and you put like some protein in it, like a hot dog, a piece of chicken, just something so it's kind of like a one-handed sandwich.
Okay, I admit I've done that with a hot dog from
Right.
time to time. Yes.
So
I've done that a lot with a hot dog.
so honestly, I think that that's what the taco chicken sandwich looks like. So they announced that this is something that'll be coming soon. And well, Subway or not Subway.
Oh, good God, no.
Sorry. Popeyes. I don't know why I said Subway. Popeyes did not take too kindly to that. So they posted a TikTok. And yes, I know Popeyes has a TikTok.
Man, shots fired out there.
But this TikTok they did was instructing people to how to make their own Taco Tuesday with Popeye's chicken sandwiches. So what you do is number one, you order the chicken sandwich. But remember, you have to get the Popeye's chicken sandwich. Number two, remove the chicken from the bun. Number three, rub the top and bottom pieces together to spread the sauce. Mm-hmm. Number four is to tear or cut the chicken in half. And number five is to fold the bottom and top pieces together like tacos and place the chicken fillet halves in each and garnish with the pickles. And voila, you have your own Taco Bell fried chicken sandwich made better with actual Popeye's fried chicken.
Okay. So after hearing that, I'm gonna take a shot at Popeyes because generally I like to believe that when I go and I order my food, they can put it together, but I generally don't like having to go through a process of my own damn recipe for something I can do myself. No, I don't need to do it myself. Damn it, just make better food. One, but two, I'm like that's just too much work. But I like to also say I like to harken back to my hack of taking a ripped up section of chicken from Popeyes and putting it in a Philly cheesesteak.
Oh God.
Yeah, you remember that one?
Yes.
Oh man, that was my favorite hack of all time. Philly's finest, ice shy, and then with a chicken sandwich, fresh. Oh, that one was beautiful.
Well, I've never had that, so I'm going to take your word that it's really delicious.
Oh, you should.
Hopefully, it's a lot better than the fact that Popeye is a master of not only chicken but the troll game. And I have a feeling that we will probably see them doing this again in the future.
Yeah, they're
But
going
kudos
after
to
some.
them.
Yeah.
So, our last story actually deals with E.L.F. Cosmetics, which is something you may not know about.
All I'm hearing is E.L.F.
It's a little cosmetic company. By the way, it's for eyes, lips, and face. It's a little cosmetic company. It's known for making high quality makeup at a more egalitarian, like a cheap price, so that everyone can afford. So you can usually get everything from. I've used them before. They have really great, really great foundations and lipsticks, and they're cheap. They're like $3 to like $10, which is fairly inexpensive for the quality you get from them. So they decided, how can we differentiate our cosmetics from other people?
Okay.
And they said, we know, we will do a makeup collaboration between E.L.F. and Chipotle.
Chipotle.
Yes.
Like where you go and get your bag of chips and like you get your salt free.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the makeup line is actually launching on May the 9th. So by the time this podcast comes out, it'll be launched. Now it includes a plumping Make It Hot lip gloss, a makeup sponge that looks like an avocado, because why not?
Oh man, I'm imagining like guac on my face.
It also comes with a makeup bag that looks like a bag of chips and a 12-piece eyeshadow palette with shades to match everything from the corn salsa to the black beans and with at a Chipotle burrito bar.
I'm getting the feeling some drunk kid's gonna really be in for trouble when he like mixes that up at night.
You know what? That's probably the case.
No, there's no doubt that is definitely gonna be the case. Some dude literally is gonna be smoking a little bit too much or eating too much or all of a sudden, they're gonna get hungry and well, the E.L.F. is gonna be on the in the wrong space at the wrong time and like what happened to my makeup kit? Well, I was hungry. I went through some things.
Well, you waited way too long. Well, get this. Every purchase of the eyeshadow palette that I was telling you about earlier will come for a free gift of chips and guacamole. Huge. Huge.
Spray with salt. No.
Free chips and guacamole from the chain? I would do it for that.
Okay. I'll be willing to say yeah, I would do it for the chips. Yeah, they do have good chips. I'm willing to give them that piece. Yeah, and they do. I'm the only person I know that can go into Chipotle, and or only order tacos and be good. Just walk out. That's all I need. That's just me. But yeah, I'd be willing to go for the chips and salsa.
Well, to be fair, I've never convinced you to try their guacamole, and it's really good. But that also leads me to wonder.
Wonder.
Again, this is something that, wow.
Come on, think about it.
Well, no, they've had different collabs. I mean, they're not. E.L.F is not the first line to ever done a collaboration.
Have we done one with Popeyes?
No, they have not. But
okay.
Tempito Hot Sauce had collaborated with a brand called Hot Dot back in 2017. Taco Bell had also had looks that they established in the ad campaign. And as this article from Eater points out, Dr. Pepper has been partnering up with lip smackers forever, which is true. I don't think there's ever a person who's come of age in the United States who didn't have a Dr. Pepper lip smacker in their purse at some time, because that's up with his phone.
Is that like lip gloss or something?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Okay, I swore I have kissed some girls in high school with that on. I don't. That was weird. I admit, I don't know how I feel about that. But yeah, I was way back. Sorry.
You okay?
Yes. Sorry. Just had to move something. But yeah, that I'm intrigued by these random collabos.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be the sort of something that you'll see more often. And the idea of eating and makeup going together, it's a little weird. But you got to give them credit for that. Plus, at the price point that most E.L.F comes from, it's a relatively good investment if you think about it. So you pay what? Maybe $4 for the eyeshadow, you get something really cool. And you get free chips and salsa, which is close, or free chips and guacamole, which is close to that price anyway.
Yeah. I would also like to say that this is actually another indicative piece of our economy right now in business, is that I'm thinking that a lot of businesses now coming out of the pandemic are starting to do interesting mergers, like Apple stores, being in, let's say, Targets and Best Buys and stuff, and just random, more businesses that you wouldn't ordinarily think would go together are starting to do interesting collaborations.
Right.
Yeah.
But so I think cosmetics and Chipotle, that is weird.
That is weird, but you never know. It's a thing.
I'm just thinking, would I have tried it if I had the opportunity to? Because we order from Chipotle rather frequently, and for what it's worth, they do have a really, really, really good chips and guacamole. Yeah. So yeah, I would try it. I would do it just for the free gift.
And even if it doesn't go the way we think it'll go, if makeup doesn't, I'm hoping it will be good for people. But even if it isn't, it will make for interesting Christmas gifts.
Yes, it would.
But I'm keeping the chips.
So that wraps up this segment of the What's Eating Us. So let's just take a break, catch your breath, and then we'll come back and share the best thing we ate this week. And you're listening to the Gourmet Goober podcast. We will be right back. Hey guys, this is JJ Outlaw.
And T Outlaw.
And we're the co-hosts of the Gourmet Goober podcast. Let me ask you something. Have you guys ever thought about starting your own podcast?
Yes.
I know when we were starting to get this podcast off the ground, we had a lot of questions, right? Like, how do we record an episode? How do we get our shows and all those apps that people like to listen to? And more importantly, how do we make money from the podcast, right? Well, the answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's kind of what we're doing right now. We're reading this ad, right?
Mm-hmm.
We love Anchor. Anchor has made it really simple to start the Gourmet Goober podcast. It's been a great thing to use, and Big Daddy's a big fan.
Yes, I am.
So if you wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, just go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start to join me, Big Daddy, and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. Again, that's anchor.fm/start. We can't wait to hear your podcast. Hey guys, this is JJ Outlaw.
And T Outlaw.
And we are back with the last segment of the Gourmet Goober podcast. What's eating us again?
There's a lot eating this, but this is not the segment in which we are doing.
No, we are actually talking about the best thing we ate this week, where we share the recipes, the restaurants, the things that we are just obsessed about. As always, we share the details in our show notes, so hopefully you can get some in your neck of the woods. And as always, we always like to invite our listeners to share with us the best thing they ate this week, particularly if it's from a local area restaurant, because we want to spread the love as, you know, many restaurants and dining establishments are really challenged during this time in order to stay afloat. But if you have a place or something that you're obsessed with, you want to share with our listeners, just email us at thegourmetgoober@gmail.com and we will maybe read your response on the show. So as always, we start with Big Daddy. And Big Daddy, what is the best thing you ate this week?
What was
that for?
I just wanted to make sure they knew I was in the house. But no, the best thing I ate this week, weirdly enough, comes from a place called Serrano's Mexican Grill. It is in Hobart, Indiana.
Yes.
And you would think of when you go to a Mexican grill that you would be looking for things like burritos, enchiladas, tacos. And I'm a big fan of tacos because, you know, like Taco Tuesday. But weirdly enough, the best thing I ate this week was a dessert, and hopefully it's still on the menu at Serrano's. It was actually the churros.
Oh my God. How obsessed are we with their churros?
I was ready to, I'm ready to protest for those churros.
And the reason why he said ready to protest is we actually ordered them for DoorDash, and we liked them so much we ordered them twice in 1 week, which we never do.
Yeah, that's something
we never ever do.
Right. We don't usually break protocol and go to the same place twice within a week.
But we were literally sitting at home one night, and I was working on a project, and I looked at him like, I don't feel like cooking. And Big Daddy's like, neither do I. And then we both looked at each other and said, churros? So I'm actually not surprised you chose them. They're really good. Oh my God.
Yes, they are quite addictive.
And here's the thing, right? So each order of churros, you get 3 churros, but these are not like regular sized churros, okay? These are like monster sized, huge churros.
Yeah, they're kind of like small cigars, but lengthy looking churros.
Yeah. But they are traditional. They're, deep fried. They have that nice crisp coating of like sugar and cinnamon. But I tell you that, they are good.
They were very good.
Actually, I could go for some churros right now. I'm not even lying to you.
Okay, she's giving me vapors. I liked them most because they were sweet but not too sweet, and they definitely were cooked to the right, I would say, to the right amount of doneness.
Yeah, they were really delicious, and crispy on the outside, tender on the inside. The reason why he said that he hopes they're on the menu is, to be honest, we were kind of looking at each other and talking about ordering churros now. But 1, the restaurant's not open yet by the time we're recording this. And then 2, when we went on DoorDash, we noticed that they did not have the churros. So I'm hoping maybe that's like a temporary thing. Because if you're listening to Serrano's, seriously, and I have to say, we love their other food. Like their, what did I get? I got something called a burrito loco, which was like a steak burrito, and it had like this wonderful queso on the top of it burrito, and it was like tons of, guacamole, because I'm insane for that. It was unhealthy and terribly delicious, and I loved it. but the churros are the icing on the cake. So hopefully that's just like a temporary thing, and maybe they will add it back to DoorDash. But if you get a chance to, hightail it over to Hyde Park, or not Hyde Park, of Hobart, Indiana, because that's where you can get probably the best churros in this area, right?
Easily in this area.
I don't know why I'm so scattered. I said Hyde Park. I said the best. What's eating us?
You're having an Illinois state of mind.
You know what? I think the coffee's running out. I think that's honestly what's happening.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Well, my choice for the best thing I ate this week didn't come from a restaurant, or it wasn't something we ate. I mean, we made, rather. Something I ate, obviously. But it's something that I have been sneaking in our kitchen for the last few weeks. And I figured I might as well come clean with it.
She's been sneaking stuff in and out of the kitchen, of which I know nothing about. So,
well, no, you probably noticed it because I ordered like a big jar of it, and I realized this morning that half of it is gone, and we've only had it for a couple weeks.
Well, apparently, since it's in this jar that I know nothing about, I'm about to say, you've been taking the maple Vicks rub or something?
No, you've seen it. It's called Lao Gan Ma sauce. It's also known as spicy chili crisp, so people refer to it as that. What it is Lao Gan Ma is Chinese for old godmother. And it is a brand of chili sauces made in China that has been really popularized. And if you've read foodie magazines or things like that, you've probably seen ads on it, on Facebook and other places. This sauce has been around for quite a bit. My understanding was that they developed it back in 1996. And it has many makers, but the Lao God Ma is like the mother of all spicy chili sauces. And it's hard to describe, right? I mean, it's spicy, but not too spicy. Has this subtle hit of seasoning. It has like fried garlic in it. It is just okay.
Doesn't include 5 spice.
No. What it is, just taking a step back. It's a bunch of fried spices and is packed in oil. And I first have been seeing it and reading about it for a number of years, and I finally decided to try it. And people who try this sauce who are obsessed with Long Gama are really obsessed with it. Like there's articles of people putting it in on vanilla ice cream type of success.
Really?
Obsessed. Yes. And you've actually had the sauce without knowing it, because remember when I made those Cornish hens and I covered it with the sauce?
Okay.
Where it was kind of spicy and it had a hit of like fried onion, and you really, really dug it. So
I really, really dug it.
Yes. So I've used the sauce, and like when I've roasted some chicken and Cornish hens and it was delicious. I've mixed it with pasta. I've added it actually yesterday, or not yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. I had some leftover chorizo bowls that I made for dinner one night this week, and I added the sauce to it, and it just took it from just your basic chorizo bowl to next level good.
Okay.
I have not tried it on ice cream yet, but I actually really want to try it.
Is it high in sodium?
Yeah, well, actually not as much as you might expect. I don't remember the exact amount of it. And here's the thing, a little dab will do you. Like, I've actually been known to like sneak a spoon of it. That's what I realized, that perhaps I have
Like a la carte.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna catch you with a spoon going in a jar.
That's what I realized, that you know what, maybe I should choose this and tell other people about this, because this stuff is the shit. It's really, really good. So people want to know about the sauce. Like I've read articles in like Taste magazine and like Food 52 where people are just like Oh my God. My wife had to take this away from me. It is that good. And it's incredibly versatile. So I've had it in rice over the last couple of weeks. I've added it to, like I said, cooking. I actually added some to a taco I made this afternoon that was really good, a fish taco. So there's just a number of ways that you can use the sauce. Best of all, it doesn't need refrigeration, so it kind of sits in its oils, and the longer it sits, the stronger it gets. And you can just leave it in your cabinet or what have you. But yeah, I got mine off of Amazon, and don't get me wrong, you can actually. I found out when I started researching about this that other companies make their own version. So Williams Sonoma, I think, has a version of it that I've seen that's really popular. Um, but if you want the original and the best, then you want the Lao Gama and spicy chili crisp. And you can tell it because it comes in a red jar, and it has a picture of an older, I'm assuming it's a Chinese woman looking kind of pissed at you.
Yeah, that makes me feel very confident.
No, you've had it and you really liked it, and you didn't know that I added it to it.
There are a lot of things you sneak in that I'm not sure I knew I had.
Did you not like the Cornishins and how I hooked it up? And
yes,
you've been
I
asked.
Did.
Okay.
I did.
It was on the Cornishins. That's how I flavored it. Seriously, it's that, and I added a little bit of Vegeta, which that's another thing I'm obsessed with, Vegeta seasoning. Seriously, if there's any advertising marketing collaboration I want a deal with Vegeta. If you guys haven't had it, it's like an Eastern European seasoning blend that I got accidentally from a store, like a spice store that was closing. And I use it for everything, to the point where I was down to like my last spoonful of Vegeta. And I told my husband, look, I'm going to make this for you, but it's not Vegeta worthy. So I'm going to use something else to season it. Because we had to preserve this Vegeta. You know that. That's why we have 2 big cans of it now.
I'm not allowed to touch the Vegeta.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
You've used the Vegeta. I've told you can use it.
The gourmet Goobers can throw at elbows.
That's because you can't just pick it up at the grocery store. I think the first time I got it off of, what was it, Cosworld Market? I mean, it's not like a season you can pick up in the hood where we live, okay? You have to like go to Bayer or someplace else that carries it. It's usually in the international section. But if you find a can of it, guard it with your life. It's gold. And I would put the Lao Ganma up there with like my second favorite international seasoning.
The gourmet Goober protects all of her spices with elbows.
He is being ridiculous.
Yeah. Says the person who literally just went on for the past 5 minutes about 2 random spices.
Look, you're happy that I seasoned the food, though, right?
Yes, I am happy that you seasoned the food.
Okay. So with that in mind, we want to thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Gourmet Goober podcast. As always, Big Daddy, where can they find you?
They can find me hiding out in the corner.
Not using the Vegeta, right?
Not using the Vegeta in fear for my life.
He's being silly. I've never threatened him over the Vegeta.
Yet. Now ask her about cheddar biscuits and what happened with forks. Or the threat of forks.
Cheddar biscuits are different.
Okay. My hands are completely like away from the mic. Away.
So, social
distancing, yes.
Social media, where can I find you?
Well, you can find me on social media, social distancing, at T-Outlaw on Twitter, Toutlaw, once again, I hope I can spell, and on Instagram at T-Outlaw, Josie Wells, like the movie.
Well, you can always find me, JJ Outlaw, on Twitter at JJ Outlaw. You can always drop me a line at the gourmet goober at gmail.com. I need some more.
That coffee is killing you, isn't it?
I need some more coffee stat. And then, of course, you can find me on Instagram at the Gourmet Goober. So we thank you so much for listening to our show. We totally look forward to, catching you next time. And until then, happy eating.
Happy eating.